Hey, howdy, hey, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Nick and Nash podcast. As always, I'm your host, Matt Nash, and with me, as always, is my co host, Nick Calvacca. But today, we're joined by a very special guest. David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely, man. No, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm David Caraher. I'm 23 years old from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I'm playing my graduate year now at High Point University, and I just finished my last 3 years at St. John's University up in Queens, Flushing, Queens. Got to play for Chris Mullen and Mike Anderson down there in Queens, and I really enjoyed myself. But graduated in December and wanted to come back home, be close to my family, and play for a legend in Tubby Smith. So all seems like good things for me.
Awesome, man. We're so happy to have you on here, and we're so happy that you're living out the way you want to live out your college dream, right?
Absolutely, no question.
And David, Matt was making fun of me before you came on. I wore my St. John's red suit. I hope it's all right with you because
It is.
I was getting blasted before you came on the show.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love it.
I was
Love
I
it.
was I was putting him through it, man.
Because Matt doesn't understand. I'm from New York,
No
so
doubt.
in this area by the city, we don't have college football,
Uh-uh.
even college hoops up in
Yeah.
Syracuse is so far. The Johnnies are everything for
St.
us,
John's.
I'm
No doubt.
sorry,
Exactly.
Nick. I thought you were repping Big Orange throughout the entirety of the last basketball year.
The
What happened to
old comes
that?
out.
What happened to that?
Well, of course. I mean, I'm all-time favorites, Carmelo Anthony. But
Already.
I'm just saying, in this area, our people here, we live and breathe our St. John's basketball, and
Always.
the Big East is always better when St. John's is playing at a high
Man.
level.
The Garden's rocking, man. That's when the Big East is at its best, man. You know that.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to start with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right. Without any more detours, let's get into this. All right. So,
No
David,
doubt.
you are a Barstool athlete, right?
Absolutely.
So, what is that like? Because you are right now are treading on unexplored water. You
Right.
are making your way into this unknown, uncharted
Yeah.
territory. What is that like to kind of be this pioneer?
Wow, I mean, honestly, it's been pretty cool, like to just learn through. I mean, be with a bunch of my friends, like a bunch of my friends, Quay Parker, Harry Giles, Bam Adebayo, those type of guys. Like they're just already profiting so much off the like NLI stuff and being able to do stuff like this, like just have podcasts, be able to get on, talk, tell your story, and I mean, be able to just kind of figure it out and learn as we go. Just because it is, like you said, so uncharted, but being a pioneer and being able to do this for the first time, we're a part of history. We all are. And, the college basketball world is changing and, it's never going to be the same. A lot of the GOATs are retiring, Coach, Roy, Coach K, people are going down now and, a new era of college basketball is starting. So it's going to be interesting to see how it progresses over the next couple of years.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't agree more. And being at Alabama right now, I like to think that Nate Oates is going to be able to step into some of those
Man.
shoes.
Absolutely, man. He's got a great squad down there, and they played really well last year in a difficult pandemic year. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year.
Absolutely, man. So you said right now, I latched onto this when you said this. You're playing for Tubby Smith.
I am. My last year. I'm going to come play my graduate year. Tubby Smith's at High Point. It's his alma mater. It's where he went to school. So he's coming back. We're building a brand new facility, 9,500 seat arena. I'm in there, and we got a pretty good squad down there this year. A couple guys people don't know about. We have a point guard, John Michael Wright, who's entered the transfer portal. Got high major interest and decided to come back and play with me. I knew him from North Carolina and Fayetteville, and he knew I was coming and he wants to come back and play. They're going to play me at the 4, pick and pop, stretch the floor, be able to, kind of play my game a little bit more, because I'm about 6'6", 6'7", so be able to play the stretch 4 in the Big South. You can't do that in the Big East at 6'6", but in the Big South you can do that, and hopefully I can dominate like I did my freshman year in Houston Baptist. Be able to get back to that form scoring the basketball.
Absolutely, you were going crazy in the early years. I
No,
looked
yeah,
through at the stats and I said, well, what happened when he went to St. John's? And then
yeah.
it just seemed like it was like there were just things that didn't quite work out. It's
Yeah,
whatever,
I mean,
but
listen,
I hope you
I
get back
always
to
I
it.
always will have love for those guys at St. John's, man. They gave me an opportunity to play at a high major school, and as a white guy, I mean, that's really, really, really hard, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
it is. You don't see a lot of white guys playing high major college basketball. I mean, it's a very small percentage of them, and I got an opportunity to do that. I got to play a lot as a sophomore, as a redshirt sophomore for Mike Anderson. And last year, stuff didn't work out. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the college basketball world. I know you guys know that it's a meat market. They don't really care about you or your feelings or even who you are as a person. They just want to make money and, you know, make it as fast as they can. So I understand that completely. But, you know, there's 356 or 51, whatever Division I schools now. And I know a lot of them would love to have my talents. So I'm not going to sit on the bench in Queens.
All right, man.
I think that's a fair answer. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, and if we could just dive before the St. John's days, you know,
Yeah.
and then we will get to that.
No
It
doubt.
seems like you've been a little bit of a traveler, you know.
No,
You've
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It seems like you've bounced around. You're trying to, you know, was that? I guess what I'm saying is the transferring process.
Right.
Was that just because you felt like you didn't find your home, or was that just
Right.
because things didn't work out? Walk us through that.
Right. So, I mean, I went to Houston Baptist out of high school. I played at Wesleyan Christian Academy in High Point, North Carolina. I played for Coach Keith Gatlin, who's actually an assistant at High Point now. That was the original reason I came back, because my high school coach is now an assistant with Tubby Smith. He played 14 years overseas. He was a McDonald's All-American. He was the starting point guard at Maryland. He played with Len Bias, God rest his soul. But he played with Len Bias out there at Maryland. And, you know, Keith Gatlin was a bad man. So I got to learn a lot from him in high school. And I went out to Houston, and not a lot of people believed in me. They didn't think I was athletic enough to play at a high major school. You know, they thought I could score it well enough, but they didn't think I could defend. And I went down to Houston with a chip on my shoulder and averaged close to 17-8 as a freshman in the Southland Conference. And I won Freshman of the Year and was third team all conference as a freshman. And I should have been first team. I was top 5 in rebounding, top 5 in scoring, and top 5 in free throw shooting. And they didn't give it to me because I was a freshman. But I don't care about the politics stuff. That can you know, be decided by you guys, you know, the podcast people. But I just want to be able to hoop and, you know, have a place where I can have an opportunity to showcase my skill set, regardless of what level that is. And I think High Point's the perfect place.
So, yeah. So, I mean, like you said, you were balling and you were deserving of and got a lot of recognition for that.
Right.
And credit to you. So was that when you decided, you know what, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go play for the Johnnies, for St. John's. What I guess in your head, were you just like, you know what, I want to play for a big time school. I want to maybe make a run at this, go get drafted, or were you kind of just like, were things behind the scenes happening in Houston? What was the reason for the move?
I mean, so I had a really big freshman year, and obviously, as soon as I finished, my coach in Houston, you know, sat me down and said a lot of schools are going to call. We want you to stay. But I didn't know how many schools were going to call, and it picked up pretty fast. It got down to St. John's, Nevada, and Ole Miss were my final 3. And my first visit was St. John's, and I pulled up to Manhattan, and my visit, they took me down to the Garden the first day I got there, and then took me down to Del Frisco's right there in the city. And, you know, Chris Mullen and Mitch Richmond pull up, and, you know, the whole staff's there. And, I mean, it's really hard to say no to Chris Mullen. I mean, especially being me. I mean, he, you know, was pitching the whole thing to me of, you know, being able to be like him and, you know, have similar skill sets and come off double down screens. And, you know, I have trouble creating my own shot, but if I can get it off, I mean, I don't miss much. So I didn't have an opportunity to do that here with Mike Anderson. He wanted to run, you know, 40 minutes of hell and press the whole game and make turnovers and really just play super chaotic. And that has nothing ever to do with my game. If anybody's ever watched me, that really doesn't work for me. So I tried to make it work. You know, I really love St. John's. I'm a graduate from, you know, I'm a St. John's graduate. I got my degree in legal studies, and I'm going to go to law school after I'm done playing basketball. That's my ultimate goal. And, man, I have nothing but love for St. John's. Mike Craig, the AD there, is absolutely phenomenal. He's doing a great job. And they were building a powerhouse up there in Queens, but it just wasn't the right fit for me.
Absolutely. It would definitely, and I'll throw it back to you, Matt, but the style definitely changed.
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of just the whole brand of St. John's basketball kind of shifted when we switched off of Chris Mullen.
Yeah.
And to your point, it seems like you're a guy who really thrives off a catch and shoot.
No doubt.
Yeah. So
No
yeah,
doubt.
definitely that's a good answer. And I, wish you the best moving forward, honestly.
No, absolutely. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No problem.
So I have a thing here. I like to study history of basketball and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
and I like to, kind of pick people's brains. Did you get a chance to pick the brains of each coach that you've played for? So, I mean, obviously you didn't get to officially play for Chris Mullen
Right.
due to transfer rules, I think was what
Yeah.
the listed
It
reason
was.
was.
Yeah.
You've been coached by Mike Anderson, and now you're being coached by Tubby Smith. Not
Right.
to mention the other guys that you have been coached for in the past and
Right.
whatnot. What is that like having this resume
Right.
of coaches that you've
Yeah.
been coached by? Like, how has that really improved your game, you think?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I got to play for Tony Edwards in AAU. He's the OG down here in North Carolina, man. He's got Rodney Purvis, Des Wells, Torian Graham, Bishop Daniel. I mean, he's the OG, and he kind of took me in as a young kid. I got to play for him, and then he sent me over to Keith Gatlin and got to play for him, and then I played for Jeff McGinnis in AAU after that. And Jeff McGinnis is my guy, man. Team Charlotte, UAA circuit, he really taught me how to play defense and taught me how to play hard. And then I got to play for Ron Cottrell in Houston. He was an absolute just X's and O's guy, knew exactly what he was doing and could execute it to a T. And, played for him for a year and then went to Chris Mullen. And I mean, Chris Mullen is everything he's cracked up to be. Hall of Famer, dream team. I mean, he's everything and more. So I got to pick his brain and learn how to work and learn that, I'm definitely not the best shooter in the gym, being with him there. He still shoots the piss out the ball. So, got to play for him and then got to play for Coach Anderson. And even though, Coach Anderson, me and him didn't end off on a good note and, stuff isn't, the best of terms, I still have a great respect for the man. He has built quite a resume, winning seasons, just constantly working hard and just proving himself and proving all his doubters wrong. So I can't even have any hate towards him. And, just being able to play for guys like that and now finish my career off with Tubby Smith, who has a national championship and, is legendary. I can definitely say I've learned my fair share of, stories and sayings from those guys.
Absolutely, man. That's right.
Yeah.
That right there is a basketball player's dream. Like,
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So David,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're all you.
All right. So I actually, one of my friends, used to kind of like live in the transfer portal. He played for 2 different schools and whatnot. Can you walk me through what that's like and just kind of provide some context on the mental headspace that you go through while you're in the transfer portal?
Right. It's definitely really uneasy just because you don't know what's going on. But when you do have an idea of what's going on, you have the right people in your corner, your family around you, handler, whoever, taking care of you and being able to, give you advice from a perspective that has no dog in the fight. That's what really, really helped me. But I've been in the transfer portal twice. I haven't been in there long either time, which has been nice for me, because, having a lot of options always makes life easier and less stressful. But, the transfer portal is hectic. But the transfer portal is hectic, man. I mean, coaches calling you. It's like you're in high school again, trying to recruit you and pitch their sale to you. And, most of them are lying straight through their teeth and just telling you what they want to hear anyways. So, I mean, it's a hilarious business to be in. And now being 23 years old and seeing the other side of it, some of these 17, 18-year-old kids have absolutely no idea what they're getting themselves into. And, they make a wrong decision or they go to a wrong school or make a mistake or get caught with drugs or alcohol or women. And, they ruin their entire career. just because they're kids, man. They don't even understand. They don't have life experience yet. They haven't been through, wars. They haven't been through, just life. And it's hard to be able to tell somebody about it without them actually having to go through it, if that makes sense.
I got you. All right, Nick, go ahead and ask your question.
That's very true. I mean, do you have? I'm gonna ditch my original question and ask you off of that. Do you have a coach, or kind of a role model, or whoever it may be in your life that kind of kept you on the right path and steered you straight?
No doubt. I mean, it would have to be my father. I mean, my father, I told him when I was 7 years old, I wanted to play Division I basketball. And, we printed out the McDonald's All-American, things like going down from what GPA you needed to what's good. I wasn't McDonald's All-American. I wasn't all that, but you still shoot for that. You know what I mean? Oh, you never let anybody outwork you. You never let anybody, tell you can't do it. And, I shot for that. And, I'm blessed to say I'm coming out of college with no student loans, and I've got my degree, and I'm going to go get my graduate degree. And I got to play basketball at a very, very high level for being a 6'6" unathletic white guy who can't jump over a telephone book. I think that's pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty good.
So I don't have any false bravado, man, that I'm going to the NBA or that, I'm, going to be a first round draft pick or any of that, man. I've got a really, I got a pretty well-rounded world perspective of where I'm at in life. And I would love to go make some money overseas, being able to shoot the ball as a pick and pop four. But, man, the NBA is a different beast. You have to be an elite level talent to be able to play there and to be able to stick in the NBA. And, man, I'm just blessed I got the opportunity to make the relationships I did. That's the biggest thing we have. And people don't realize that it's relationships. It has nothing to do with your degree or, how many letters you have behind your name or whatever that bullshit means, man. It's about the relationships and the people you meet and, who you can be able to be authentic with. And, it's been amazing to be able to learn that. And I've made a lot of mistakes. Trust me, I have. But being able to sit here at 23 and look at it from a different perspective was super, I don't know. These last couple months have been super eye-opening. I'll say that.
Matt, I told you that we were going to like this guy. I said before the show started, I said, Matt, I didn't talk to him for long, but when I spoke to David last week, it was a good phone call. I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, and you're giving good answers. You're preaching, man. I mean, thank you.
I appreciate that, man. No, thank you.
No doubt. But so back to the court. It says here you opted out for COVID-19 concerns.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
Correct.
So what was it like to kind of, not to bring it to a dark place, but what was it like to kind of go through camp, go through the off season, get ready, and then kind of just say, you know what, obviously the whole world was going through a crazy situation. What was it like for you as a player to kind of say, okay, I need to take a step back and do what's most important here?
It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, to be honest with you. Stepping away from basketball, something I've played for the last 18 years of my life. I mean, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to act without basketball in my life, but I needed to come home and handle some personal stuff with my family. My grandma was sick and she passed away. So I
Sorry
needed
to
come
hear that.
home and it's I appreciate that. But, she, I had to come home and handle some business, in that regard. And, also, after coming home and talk with my family and being able to see North Carolina and see all these people, it was an easy decision for me to come back home with the support system that I had here. So, opting out my teammates up at St. John's, I still love all those guys. I talk to them constantly. Posh, Alexander, Julian Champagny, Dylan Wusu, all those guys, man. I will always have love for them. And I was FaceTime with Julian earlier this morning, man, just chatting, just chopping it up, man. He decided to come back, out of the draft process, so that was my roommate most of the time on the road. We roomed together, and that's a bad boy right there. He's going to have the Garden jumping this year with Posh. So I'm excited for those guys, man, and just excited for college basketball in general, just to have fans back,
Yeah, hey, that was my next note here, my next bullet. Julian Champagny is back,
Yes, he is.
So I kind of feel like, and not to put pressure on, but I'm the least of his worries, obviously.
Yeah.
It seems like, excuse me, it seems like there's no excuses now for St. John's. We got to be back. We're going to be back in the tournament. We're going to win some games, right?
That's the only reason. I mean, Mike Anderson has his guys in there now, and I mean, he's got a good core, and I mean, he's got Posh and Julian leading those guys, and Dylan Wusu is a problem too, man. He's about 6'4", 6'5", and he plays like a bowling ball when he's running downhill. And I mean, there's not many people going to stop him from getting to the rim when he wants to get to the rim, and he plays defense like a maniac. So like you said, there's no excuses for St. John's this year. They have to produce. They have to make the tournament. I feel like they have to make the tournament, or it's a bust year for them. Yeah. So I mean, it's the only right. I mean, New York, you know how the media is. They don't play any games up there, and they have an NBA guy coming back, and it's time for him to produce. And I know he's going to. I know that.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to, I mean, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, actually, I guess I should defer to you, but it seems like with Julian coming back, this is the most, sorry, the phone's going off here. This is the kind of the biggest star coming back, if you will, since Shamori Pons.
No doubt. Absolutely. I would say that's 100% the correct way to put it. And I mean, being from Brooklyn too, I mean, the whole city wants St. John's. Like you said, when St. John's is doing well, the city's rocking. I mean, it's a different energy in there when St. John's is playing well. And I mean, it's his team and it's his city. He's from New York, and it's his time. He came back to solidify himself as a first-round draft pick. You know, that's what he's doing, and put himself in that lottery conversation. And I mean, he's a 19-year-old 6'9" three-man who's can pretty much do whatever you need him to do, and he can switch down to the four because he doesn't care about that physical stuff. He's with all of that. So I'm really excited to see how he plays. I mean, I think he should be Big East preseason player of the year. I don't think it's even close. And I mean, I think it's his to lose.
Can we imagine a world? And Matt, I'll let you go. I'm hogging it here. But can we just all just let's go to a happy place and imagine New York City where the St. John's and the Knicks are good.
I mean, I don't know if you could have a better energy in Madison Square Garden if both of those teams are on the roll. I mean, it's just going to be sold out crowd after sold out crowd, and New York wants something to cheer about. You know what I mean? You know, I've been up there for 4 years. They took me in, and you know how the concrete jungle is, man. It doesn't take any prisoners, you know? I mean, it doesn't. There's nothing like it in the whole entire world. And
No, I'm sorry. I'm getting excited because when the Johnnies and the Knicks stink, the city's buzzing.
Right.
So, you know, just all this hype with the Knicks in the playoffs, and now seeing all these articles about St. John's being back and how they're going to be in the tournament. It's just, and I'm not trying to, I know we're here to talk about your career in High Point, but it's just being from New York and seeing your time at St. John's. It's just something that gets me going, man.
Hey, listen, but St. John's was a huge part of my journey, man. It definitely opened doors and relationships for me that I never would have had, you know? So, I mean, I'm always open to talking about St. John's and always open to, you know, giving them praise. And like I said, you know, Mike Cragg, the AD over there, he's from Duke. He was the assistant AD at Duke, and then he took the AD job there at St. John's after Chris Mullin was fired. And, I mean, he's running a hell of a program over there, and he's going to have St. John's back where they're supposed to be. I mean, St. John's is a historical school as anybody. I mean, Chris Mullin, Mitch, I mean, I could go Walter Brown. I could go on and on and on. But, I mean, it just comes down to they need to get back to where they should have been 10 years ago after Steve Lavin had them, and that time is now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's one thing I actually am currently wondering about. You seem very, you know, in on the whole New York culture thing and whatnot.
No, yeah.
So what was that like shifting from Wesleyan Christian Academy in high school to Houston Baptist and then to New York City?
Man, I can't even, I'm gonna tell you, Matt, like it was really the craziest thing ever. You know, I mean, in Wesleyan, you're pretty much in a bubble. It's a Christian school, you know, private Christian school. They take care. We go to chapel, all that, and then went out to Houston Baptist, and it was kind of the same way, kind of just a big high school. You know, I played a year there and just really worked out every day and just didn't really do much offside the court. And I showed up to New York City really naive. And I came out of New York City 3 years later, like I said, a whole different person with a whole lot more life experience, because if you don't learn quick in New York, like I said, it will eat you up and spit you out faster than you can even realize it.
Yeah, it will. And I'm sure yourself or some teammates or whoever it may be might have learned that very quickly.
I learned it the hard way. I have no shame in saying it. I learned it the hard way. The hard way.
Definitely. And it's funny because we had in the past week, we asked that, like, yeah, and that's New York, man. It's New York.
New York.
We've asked that question the complete opposite way, right, Matt? I mean,
right.
we've had two football players on, actually a soccer player and a football player on, who were in your situation, just the opposite. They came from the north to the south, and we asked them, we said, what was your welcome to the South moment? So now we're asking you,
exactly,
or I want to steal the thunder and ask you, what was your welcome to New York moment? Was there a moment where you were like, oh man, like this is
I would say walking in the Garden for the first time. I mean, I got to walk in the Knicks locker room and got to like walk out in the Garden. I mean, I would say that would probably be it. And then I would probably say my first day of pickup with Justin Simon from Arizona, Marvin Clark from Michigan State, LJ Figueroa at Oregon, Mustafa Heron, Auburn.
LJ's doing great.
Man, that's my guy, man. Shout out LJ, man. I'm so happy for him, man. He just went down to the Sacramento Kings work. I talked to him last week, and he shot 86 of 100 in their three-point shooting drill. And, man, if he's shooting the ball like that, and he's playing defense and he's engaged, I mean, he's a professional basketball player. So somebody's going to give him a chance, man. And he's a 6'7" dude at all wings. So, I mean, that's my guy. Me, Mustafa Heron, and LJ Figueroa, we lived together, for my first 2 years at St. John. So I'm really close with those guys. And, those guys are really like my big brothers, to be honest with you. They mentored me a lot and kind of helped me through this process.
Definitely. I think the best answer you could get for welcome to New York moment is walking into the Garden, right, Matt?
It's a complete different answer than what we got, because when you said, oh, what's your welcome to the South moment? Oh, it was the food. Oh, I walked into CVS and I had a conversation for 10 minutes. No, it's you go to New York, it's, oh, I walked into the Garden. What?
Walked into Madison Square Garden like, holy shit, this is my home arena, like, for real.
That's funny. So let's go ahead and actually extend that question now. So
well, what about the pizza?
Oh, okay, here we go.
I'm not gonna lie, the pizza in New York is just different than, I don't know what water they use, what bread they use. You can't find pizza in the South like you find in New York. You might as well not even eat it.
And I'm some chubby little dude here, so that my fat ass always wants to ask people who come from the South to New York, what'd you think?
So how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
That's not short.
He plays off like he's short and fat, but the dude
exactly
goes by big Nick.
That's a normal size human being.
I'm just normal and fat.
No, 6 foot is tall. Okay, the
6 foot is above average.
Exactly.
I feel like 5'10" is average.
Yeah, I think it's actually like 5'9.5" is the average height for males.
Exactly.
Like males, I should say.
Exactly.
What do you want me to do here? I'm talking to David, who's 6'6", playing basketball in the Garden. And I'm supposed to say I'm not small?
No, you're supposed to acknowledge what you are, because he gets it, see,
exactly,
David, he understands.
Listen, guys, I just wanted to hear about pizza.
That's it. Now we're on a whole different tangent.
You brought your weight into this. This is on you. You said that you were fat.
I have to address it, because if I don't, then the viewers are going to say, look at this fat ass talking about food again.
No, you're from New York.
I wouldn't have even said that. I wouldn't have even went there.
Bro, why are you going there? This is like the third time you've done this. What are you doing? Do you have like some like self-deprecation like thing? Like
yes,
you just gotta depreciate your own self-value as much as possible? What? You're trying to roast yourself?
Oh man.
Listen, man.
God,
it's
hilarious.
Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
God.
You're gonna have to give me a second now.
Well, I mean, is it not true? I mean, listen. If David, let's put myself in David's. If I was on the show, and I started ranting about the pizza, you guys would be like, "Oh, geez." But if David does it, he's allowed to, because he's in good shape.
No, No, you're from New York. It's a New York
Exactly.
thing.
You're from New York. You got the accent. You're allowed to talk on it, I feel like.
If I started ranting about New York, you'd think, what's wrong with this dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm from Alabama. I was born here, raised here. Only other place I've lived is in, like, the Pacific Ocean. Like, I have nothing
That's
to
it.
talk about pizza for.
All right. Well, then, how about this, David?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's gear off of food.
Okay.
Now I'm getting hungry. See.
Exactly. Me too.
We won't keep you too long, but
No, you're fine.
let's transition here.
Yeah.
You've been, like we said, you've bounced around. You've made great relationships everywhere. Met great coaches, players. But let's talk about kind of, if not cities, arenas. Where's your favorite place to play? A road game.
It's not even close. I started at the Chase Center against Arizona. Bill Walton was calling the game. That was the coolest place I ever got to start in. Was at the new Chase Center, the Warriors facility. I mean, it was absolutely immaculate. They had just opened it, and we played on ESPN. And Mustafa Heron had hurt his knee, and Mike Anderson came to me right before the game and said, "You're going to start on ESPN tonight." So I started on ESPN. Started out well. Ended up with pretty decent stat line. I didn't play much in the second half, but being able to just start and be out there with, Nico Mannion, Josh Green, Zeke Naji, I mean, all professional basketball players, man. And I don't consider myself a professional basketball player yet. I feel like there's guys in college that are professionals from the moment they step on and that they shouldn't be there. I feel like that's a whole different conversation that maybe we can open up another time. But I feel like for most guys, coming to college, you're going to stay and play a couple years and try to prove yourself and make a name for yourself to get an opportunity in the NBA. But, some of these kids come in and it's not even close. They definitely shouldn't be here, and they should be being paid to do what they do. And, that's what I believe. That's just what I think. And I know people disagree, but, I feel like if you're 18 or 19 years old and you can be a millionaire and change your family's life, I don't know why another human being should hold you back from that because you need to go to college for a year. Doesn't make sense to me. So hopefully they change that. But man, I just, just being able to play with all these guys I played with has been, just a crazy experience. I'll tell you that.
Well, it is true because they say student athlete, but let's just be honest and realistic. Yeah. For a lot of guys, you're an athlete student.
Student, no doubt.
Absolutely. There are so many guys, to your point, you're right, who know where they're going athletically. And, it is a shame that you run the risk of injury or kind of just, a lot of factors that don't work out in college and you step away from the game. So it's a slippery slope. And hopefully, like you said, things come together. And I think these new rules might be the start of something. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
But, Matt, I'm sorry again. I'm rambling.
No, you're good here. I actually wanted to continue the conversation with asking David about his opinion about the NIL rules and whatnot and the ways that you think it's going to help benefit. And it could possibly, if you see any detriments, feel free to list those as well, but I don't think you do.
No, I think it's fantastic. I wouldn't see any detriments. I see one detriment being a lot of these kids getting too much publicity too early. I mean, a lot of them having to grow up really fast and not knowing how to handle all the attention. I feel like that's one thing that may be a detriment. But, man, if you can make money off the NCAA has been stealing money from kids for as long as I can remember. So I'm only 23. I'm not that old, but they've been taking money for a long time. So I feel like it's time that, us as student athletes put our foot down and say, at least meet us halfway. And, I think that's all people are asking for is to be reasonable and meet them halfway. And if they're able to do that, I feel like there should be no issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fair point. What about as far as Barstool Sports? Is there anything behind the scenes that we need to know about or anything that you guys have heard, or is it just kind of we're still learning on the fly here?
I think everybody's learning on the fly, but obviously Barstool, the following you guys have, is ridiculous. Your guys' podcasts are world renowned. I watch them all night, just being on there and just watching podcasts and just different guys come on and just tell their stories or have their boys on there. And, people could just be authentic on your podcast. You don't have to be anybody different. You can just, have a conversation with some cool ass dudes, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, man, I really appreciate you guys having me on here. It's been absolutely a blast.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, David, I mean, I don't know, I don't know if I should even say that we're not with Barstool Sports,
Oh,
me
okay.
and Matt, but we have been having a ton of Barstool athletes on our show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, shoot. Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty professional the way you guys are running. So I assumed that you guys might be with Barstool.
Hey, thank you so much. I mean, we
Yeah,
really
no
appreciate
doubt.
that. We try to run a nice podcast here, a nice show, and hopefully we off the record, hopefully we gain the recognition of some people that we want to
Man,
gain the recognition of.
I hope so. I mean, they definitely have my stamp of approval. That's for sure. But I don't know how much weight that carries. I'm kind of pretty average around here. So
Look, hey man, that I'm talking to 17 point per game, 8 rebound per game, Houston Baptist star David Caraher. That means something.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Thank you. For real,
So
it does.
what I know you mentioned earlier, like, you considered yourself, I don't know if the word you used was it a realist with the NBA and
Yeah,
stuff? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So what are your, if you don't look to play uh in the pros, what are your plans for after college?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm getting my master's in business administration from High Point. I'm going to get my MBA, and then I'm going to go to law school. I really want to be a lawyer. I've always kind of wanted to do that. I don't know what area specifically, but I want to eventually try to be a Supreme Court justice. That's my eventual goal. It's a pretty lofty goal for being a basketball player, but I'm going to see what I can do, shoot for the stars, and hopefully land somewhere in the sky. So,
Hmm.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
so hopefully that works out. But man, I'm gonna play as long as I can. I love to play basketball, and if I can get the opportunity to play overseas in a beautiful country like Italy or Germany or Spain or Australia, like I would take it in a heartbeat.
Are you Italian?
No, I'm actually Irish and German. So
All right.
Another win. Another win. He asks everyone if they're Italian, and they always say, no, I'm Irish, or no, I'm English, or no, I'm German. I'm telling you, Nick, Irish people run the world. All
they
right?
do, man.
Irish people run the world.
So if you have that's an option then. So would you then, let's say you get an offer after
Right.
this upcoming season to play overseas, like in Europe, like you said, would that be obviously something to consider? But do you think you would go play and kind of do law school in Europe, or wait, or
Right.
what's
Yeah.
your idea?
Well, I've already been offered, a contract to go play overseas actually already.
Oh
But
wow.
I decided to want to go play for Tubby Smith, because he's a legendary coach, and I want to get my MBA, and I want to be able to play really in front of my parents and my little brother. Want to be able to come back home and play in front of them. I haven't been home in about 4 years, and I want to be able to play in front of them for the first time in a while. And honestly solidify myself again as a big time college basketball player. I think a lot of people kind of forgot what I can do being stuck on the bench up there in Queens, for right or for wrong. But my opportunity's coming now, and I'm gonna try to wake the world back up a little bit. I did that as a freshman, and now being a little bit older, I think I got the tools to do it. So,
And
you know,
I'm not just saying this to be not at
right,
all. I mean this truthfully, and I think you would agree. Like you said, whether you were on the bench or not, up there in the Big East, that competition just every day working at practice,
no
I
doubt.
mean, you're gonna thrive.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
You're gonna
no
thrive.
doubt.
And I guess that brings me to my next question is,
Yeah,
you know, what's your role now with High Point? Do you
right.
expect to be, I mean, you should be, I believe, kind of like a captain, a leader,
Yeah.
or what is your role?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the de facto leader at this point. I think leadership is earned, it's not given. I don't feel like you have to talk about being a leader, and I don't feel like you have to say anything to be a leader. I feel like you have to just come in every day and do it with your actions, and just prove to people like, hey, like I do this and I do it every day and I do it consistently every day. So you're either gonna hop on board and follow me, or you're gonna have to find a new place to play. And that's kind of Tubby Smith's motto as well. He wants everybody to be all in, 2 feet in, 100% on board, and like, I'm ready to come to High Point, and I'm gonna start this year, and I'm gonna make some noise. We got a point guard, like I said, John Michael Wright. He averaged about 25 a game last year for a High Point team that struggled mightily. They were really young, and they didn't have a lot of leadership at the top to win tough games. And they used to quit a lot when they would get down, 15, 20 points, just quit and let teams roll them because they had a lot of young guys. But me coming there this year, being an older leader, being a veteran, having been through some wars in the Big East, like you said, and my sophomore year, I played, probably about 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes a game, and I got to be out there on the court with, Colin Gillespie, Miles Powell, Sandro Mamukelashvili. I mean, professional basketball players, out there, Sadiq Bey. I mean, these guys play professional They make money playing basketball, and like you said, doing that, and then in practice having to guard LJ and Mustafa and Justin Simon and Marvin Clark and Shamori Pons and Brian Trimble. I mean, the list, it just goes on and on of just guys, high major guys that you just have to play against all the time, and you have no option but to get better, or you're just going to get continuously destroyed. So you have to get better or you get out. And man, I loved practice, lifting. Everything that happened up at St. John's was a positive thing for me.
Yeah, it sounds like you have no regrets.
No, none at all. I would have never gone anywhere but Queens, no doubt. Help grow me into who I am today, for sure.
Now, where were your other offers from? Like not offers, but I guess you can talk about your offers originally coming out of high school, but when you balled out at Houston Baptist, what were your other options? Was it just the three we talked about earlier?
No, it was a lot. I mean, I probably had about 30 schools contact me out of Houston. But I mean, it was pretty wild. I mean, all levels, a lot of the West Coast Conference, ACC, Big East was big, Pac-12 a little bit, a little bit of the Southeastern Conference, just a little bit of everything, to be honest. But my story's kind of crazy. In high school, I committed to Chris Holtman as an 8th grader to Butler. I was a Butler commit as an 8th grader, and I ended up having a big game in Big Shots tournament down there in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I had a big game, and Roy Williams and CB McGrath were sitting courtside, and I had 40 in the 9 a.m. morning game in front of a slew of coaches as a 9th grader.
That's how you wake up the gym.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely Roy, and especially being a Chapel Hill guy, I definitely got Roy's attention, and he had CB contact me, and I was a verbal to Butler, and I ended up kind of fluctuating a little bit from that when Roy called me, and Chris Holtman ended up pulling my scholarship from me, took it from me, and said that I didn't have a spot at Butler anymore. As a 9th grader who was probably a top 50 kid in the country, just took it from me, right like that. And, a lot of people, dropped off on me after that, said I was a prima donna, said that, I wasn't good enough. I thought too highly of myself, blah, 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 blah. And I went to Houston Baptist because they believed in me from the start. And they had recruited me for 5 years. They were my first Division I offer. And Coach Cottrell down there said, come down here and I'm going to put the ball in your hand. And he did just that. And I could show what I do. I showed what I did when I had the ball in my hands. And Mike Anderson didn't really give me a chance to have the ball in my hand. He had a lot of good guys up there. That makes sense. But I can do a little something too if you put the ball in my hand.
Sounds like it, man. I mean, gee, and you have an awesome story. I mean, thanks for sharing it. I mean,
no doubt. Absolutely.
It just seems like it seems like you kind of just fight through adversity, like as well as anybody.
No doubt, man. It's just it's difficult, but you just have to continue to get back up. Like, life's gonna knock you down, man. It's gonna hit you really, really hard sometimes, and sometimes it's gonna just stumble you. But each and every time, you have to have your support system around you and the people in place that have your back no matter what. If you have those people in your corner that you can go to, it makes life really, really easy. Even in the hardest of times, it makes it really easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one more thing I wanted to ask, and
no doubt.
I wanted to ask it earlier and we didn't get to it. So we talked about your transition from, Wesley Christian to Houston Baptist, and Houston Baptist to the concrete jungle, the Big Apple.
Uh-huh.
So now let's talk about the transition back from the Big Apple, going back to Chapel Hill, going back to, High Point.
Right.
A little bit smaller town, whatnot. Are you gonna be missing the day-to-day bustle of New York, or are you gonna be relaxed a little bit? You're gonna enjoy laying back?
Man, I'm enjoy laying back. I'm happy to be back in the South, man. You know how it is, man. You know, being back,
Mhm.
everything's just so fast paced up there. Everybody needs it now, 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 now. You know, it's just, it's just a different life up there. And like, I'm really happy to be back. I'm around my original support system. You know, Wesleyan Christian Academy is about 2 miles down the road from High Point University. So all my old teachers and everybody are, excited that I'm back. And there's a little buzz going around, just because I used to play so well in high school. A lot of people want to come back and watch me play now as, a grown man in college. So, I think the gym will be packed. The new arena is absolutely amazing that they're opening in August. I mean, they have a high major facility down there at High Point now. Practice facility, hot, cold tub, locker room. I mean, 9,500 seater. We have the biggest scoreboard in the state of North Carolina. Besides
Really?
besides the PNC arena down there with the Carolina Hurricanes. But Nito Cobain, who's the owner of the president, I should say, of High Point, is a pretty wealthy man, and he's kind of putting a lot of money into High Point and High Point sports programs. So it's exciting to be a part of such a growing university.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can I steal it back, Matt, or do you want?
No, you're good.
Oh yeah. What's like? I know you said your father was the biggest role model for you.
Yeah.
How about an on-court role model? Who do you
Right.
kind of model yourself after?
Oh man, I would say Tyler Hansborough was the first person I ever modeled myself after. I mean, he was a problem at UNC. I wore number 50 all the way up until I went to Wesleyan. Then I changed to 5 because 50's like 50's a big man number, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I got to have a little bit of court swag, but like. He was an absolute problem, man. And I used to be over there watching him all the time. I got to meet him a couple times, worked out with him twice. And, I mean, he's an absolute monster. And, just with the thing I took away from him is like, he just never let anybody outwork him. I mean, he just absolutely just took your will from you because he played harder than you. And then he was also 6'9", 240 and a big, strong country boy. So, I mean, you put that together and that's a pretty deadly combo. And he made some money in the league and, really, I mean, he was the National Player of the Year his senior year. So, man, that was who I would say and on the court who I really modeled myself after.
You got a little New York accent in you. You're not a country boy.
I do, man. I've been there for like 4 years now, so I got the lingo and stuff now, man. But hopefully, coming back here to the South, I can calm that down and get back, to a little country music, a little fishing, maybe some ATVing and some jet skiing. Stay away from the city for a couple years.
You got to get your draw back, man.
Exactly, man. Back. Exactly.
The draw makes the ladies go crazy.
Yes, it does, Nick.
You don't understand.
You better listen to him, Nick.
I know. Trust me. I bet. Hey, listen. I've had both, not to go too into detail, but when I went to Alabama, I've had both. I've had girls turn away from me at the bar because of my northern accent, northern style, but I've also had girls say, "That's cute."
I like it. There's no doubt about it.
There's definitely been a handful that that like it. They touch my chain a little bit and they say,
"All right, okay.
Where are you from?
Okay.
They see my earrings.
No, we've gone too far. We were talking about accents. And now we're getting into touching chains and stuff. No.
They see the earrings. They know it. That's
wow. Tell him, Nick. Tell him, man.
Just ease that one on out of here.
He is.
Man.
Oh man, Matt gets mad at me. I go off track a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
There's no problem with that. No problem at all.
All right, David. Here. Let's just go. Where are the girls prettier, north or south?
Oh, it's the South, man. It's not even close, man. Even close. It's not even close, man. Come on, that's not even a question. It's not even close. It's not even a debate. Well, you can debate that for hours. Anybody who wants to debate that can debate me for hours, man. My DMs are open always.
All right, I'm good. That's awesome.
Oh man, so David, a couple more things, and we'll let you go, man. We know you're probably busy, but I guess what's the expectations for High Point this year? Take us inside the locker room. Tubby Smith obviously coming to town, and what's the message kind of for you guys as a club, and what's the expectations?
Man, it's time to win for us too. It's time to win now. You know, we're not accepting anything less than, you know, a conference championship, you know, a conference tournament championship, and we want to go to the tournament. You know, Winthrop had ran the conference for the past couple of years. Pat Kelsey down there at Winthrop, you know, they had an undefeated season damn near, you know, last year. I mean, they've been just absolutely tearing through the Big South. And, you know, I think it's time to switch that up.
Yeah, definitely. And is it kind of now, do the guys look to you? Do the guys you've been in touch with, do they kind of look to you as like, I don't want to say the big shot, but I guess the leader, kind of like, wow, like here comes David. He's been around the block, you know,
Right.
he knows the game. He's played
No,
the
yeah,
Big East.
absolutely. Absolutely. I feel a very, very big respect from all the guys on the team. But you know, if I gotta be honest, that would be John Michael Wright's team, you know, the point guard that we have. I mean, he's averaged 20 points per game for the past 2 years. He's coming back for his junior season, and that's his team. But you know, now he's got a running mate to go with him. So, you know, I'm excited to play with him. We got a couple great pieces, man. Zach Austin out of Greensboro. He's got a freaking sniper, and he can jump out of the gym. And then we got another kid, Jaden House, out of Richmond, Virginia, who originally committed to Georgetown and then had a couple things mess up and ended up coming down with us at High Point. And, you know, between us four, we got a 5-man, Alex Holt from the Boondocks in North Carolina. He's a big boy, about 6'8", 6'9", and he gets it done down there in the paint. So I think we're gonna be pretty hard to beat, man. I really do. But like you said, you know, it's a long way before the season happens. So we got a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And are you gonna be starting at the 2 or the 3?
I'm gonna start at the 4.
You're starting at the 4.
So, yeah, I love that position, you know, being a stretch 4, pick and pop, you know, being able to isolate on the wing or isolate in the post if I get a smaller guy on me. So the 4 is where I'm most comfortable, and I'm so happy to be going back to the 4, to be honest with you. I grew about another 1.5 inches, so I'm about 6'6", 6'7" now. You know, I continued growing. You know, it happened in my family with my uncle too. When he was about 22, 23, he grew another like 3-4 inches. So see if I can get another, see if I can get another couple inches. You know, I'm about up to 6'6.5" now without shoes. You know, we did our physical at High Point, and man, I'm just trying to, you know, put myself in the best position possible to make some money when I'm done doing this.
Here's my last question, and then I'm gonna let Matt finish up. It's back to New York. It's back up north. Last question, because I've heard different answers from different St. John's players. Now, This is gonna sound like a stupid question to Matt.
Here we go.
It's gonna sound like a stupid question to Matt, but David, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from here.
Fair enough.
What's the cooler arena to just bang a big 3 and, you know, and really feel it?
Caraher.
Bang! There you go. Not MSG, right?
Not MSG, man, because Caraher, everybody's right on top of you. I mean,
that's your home gym.
Yeah, man. We beat Creighton. We beat the brakes off of Creighton, number 8 Creighton at St. John's in Queens. I mean, and me, LJ Figueroa, and Greg Williams had a field day. Greg Williams ended up hitting like 7 threes, had 26. And we almost came back on number 4 Butler at Caraher the day after New Year's. And we were down 21, and we came on a rampage coming back playing that full court press. And, man, it's fun as crap to play in Caraher because there's nothing better. Like, those fans are right there on top of you.
It's awesome. Yeah, because it's funny how you knew where I was going with that question, because I've been to St. John's games, high-profile St. John's games at the Garden, and they're great. Don't get me wrong.
No doubt.
But there's nothing like a Big East game at the Caraher Arena, man.
Nope.
Everyone's right on top of each other. It's loud.
Yes,
the noise is banging off the walls. It's just it's awesome, man. And that's crazy that your answer was the Caraher Arena.
You know it.
Because you know what it is with the Garden? It's still, you got to understand, it's a college basketball game.
Exactly.
So it's not, it's not a packed out Garden like Matt sees on TV on a playoff Nick game. You know, it's different. But that's awesome. I had that one in my notes. I wanted to ask you.
This
I
is
do. I love
therapy
it.
for Nick. This is therapy for him. He
It
just gets to
is.
talk New York for like 50 minutes.
He's enjoying it. He
He's
is. He's
enjoying it.
enjoying it.
And I mean, I get it. I've been stealing.
You do.
We've had a bunch of, South guys on here and, whatnot. We've talked a lot about the South, so I can
Yeah.
understand it. But man, I didn't think it was this deep. I didn't think that he needed that main vein fix, I guess.
He did. He did. He needed it.
Oh, man. All right.
And this is me with David. Imagine when I get an Italian from New York
Right.
on the show.
Exactly. It's going to be even worse.
It's going to be insufferable. It's
It
going to be
is. It is.
insufferable. I'm going to
Matt
get
might have to
slapped
lead the
through the
meeting.
screen.
He might have to lead the meeting.
I would stand up and walk out that door right there and just let him go. Because that's all you can do. You take the saddle off and let him ride.
Let him ride. Let him go.
All right. Well, we won't keep you much longer. I just have one more question for you.
No problem.
One message. One thing you got to say to High Point fans. What is it?
Man, I would say like it's time, man. You guys have waited a long time to be good. A lot of their sports programs are really good. The women's basketball team was the Big South Conference tournament champions last year, and they played UConn in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So
That's not who you want to run into.
I think everybody knows how that went. But High Point fans, man, I just really would want to say, it's time to come out and just support. We got a brand new arena. Tubby Smith is the coach, and we got a good team this year, and we're definitely going to play hard for you. So come out there and watch us, man. Give us your support. Just be loud and excited. Fans coming back this year, please be out there. We got to play a whole season with cardboard people and, no fans. So, just bring the energy, and I promise you we will match it without question.
All right.
Yes, sir. David,
Good answer.
thanks so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. This was a lot of fun, especially for me.
Yeah.
We really wish you the best with we wish you the best with Barstool Athletics.
Yeah.
I say it every show. I sound like a broken record, but Dave Portnoy is running a great a great thing
Ain't that
over
the
there.
truth?
Everything he touches goes to gold. It seems like the guy's just completely successful.
Yes.
So good luck with that. I think that'll be a success, and best of luck to you with the season with High Point. And we're going to be following you. So, we.
Hey, man, listen, you guys have to follow, man. And listen, the pleasure was all mine, man. Having been on here with you guys, man, it was a whole lot of fun. So anytime you want me back on or anything you guys need, man, please, my phone is always open to you guys.
That's awesome, man. We think you got a bright future, and we're really looking forward to keeping up with your career.
No doubt, Nick. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
All right.
No problem.
Thank you so much to David for coming on the show with us today, and thank you so much to everybody who tuned in to watch and to listen. So, without any further ado, we bid you adieu. See you next time.